Post Time. I'm Heather Vitale, and it is our 20th annual Delaware Standardbred Owners Association Awards Dinner, and it is a big night. So I always need a little help from my friends. One friend in particular, this guy right here, Bill Ellis. He always MCs with me on this evening. Bill, missed you.
Missed you too. How have you been this past year?
Really great. Do you want me to go into major detail or?
Just tell me about Ireland.
Yes, Ireland. Every year I go to Ireland. And this year also I got my scuba certification, and I rode a horse in the Indian Ocean. No big deal, whatever. It's just life.
I drove a horse into the Indian Ocean, but not by design.
I love you.
My mother does too.
So let's kick things off with a joke, because Bill really gets things going in a fun way for the evening, and so we're going to get the show started the same way.
Well, his father takes his son to this horse auction, and father's checking the horses out, so he goes up to this one particular horse and rubs the hind end of the horse, and then he rubs the legs up and down, and son looks at the father and says, "Dad, what are you doing?" He says, "Well, before I buy a horse, son, I want to make sure it's got strong back muscles and the legs are nice and strong to help race." And the little boy's looking up at his father. He looks confused, and father said, "What's the matter, son?" He says, "I think the mailman wants to buy Mom."
Robert, our videographer, got a big chuckle out of that. I hope you guys did at home. You joked about driving a horse into the Indian Ocean, but have you been doing any driving this year? I know you do at Summit Fairs, right?
Yeah, I did drive at Cornish Fair again this year. Mike Cushing from Maine is always kind enough to let me drive a horse, and it was a 3-horse race, finished third, very close. Almost got run into, all these novice drivers out there, and he told me, be careful, because you know, you're racing on a Saturday and he's back in to go on a Tuesday. So I went 2-7 with him at Cornish Fairgrounds, and the guy drove him down at Plain Ridge and went in 53.
You know, that's one thing I haven't done. I haven't driven yet. And mainly it's because there's a petition that every time I want to drive, it goes around, and there's so many signatures that they won't let me go behind the gate, but oh well.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's fun. It is the most exciting thing in the world.
Really? I gotta try it. I've trained before, haven't driven, but now you're my inspiration.
Well, you should. I tell you, there's nothing better when you ask it for a little speed and it responds. But again, there's nothing worse, too, is when you ask for speed and it just throws its tail in your face and it says, "You do it."
Well, that's life. One thing about tonight, though, thankfully no one's petitioned for me not to be emceeing. So I will be up there with you. Thank you, and as always, so great to see you.
It's always fun. Thank you very much for having me back.
This party is just getting started. But before we meet our award winners, we're heading into a quick break. But before we even do that, let's check out the live racing schedule from Dover Downs, where you can see our current stars competing. Monday through Thursday, come on out. There's a first race post time of 4:30 p.m. Make sure that you check out the fabulous and fun race and sports book at Dover Downs for non-stop simulcasting action. You can watch and cheer on harness and thoroughbred horses from across the country from noon to midnight. And remember, there's always free parking and free admission at Dover Downs. For more information, just call 302-674-4600 or visit them on the web at doverdowns.com.
Welcome back to our special edition of Post Time. We are at the Delaware Standardbred Owners Association Awards Banquet. You know, Harrington may be a little town in the first state, but the stars at the track are anything but small. Let's check out our big award winners from Harrington Raceway.
First, let's check out who won Harrington's 2016 Claimer of the Meet as honored by the DSOA.
There goes Sir Jonathan Zetam popping out of the 2-hole now, and Sir Jonathan Zetam has gone right up and gotten the lead as they go by 3/4 in 1:27 1/5, and Sir Jonathan Zetam is widening. The lead is 3.5, 4 lengths, coming to the top of the stretch. Sir Jonathan Zetam by 5. Alex Shredder outside of Hooray for the Gray, getting loose down the inside now is Mapua's Fortune as they come toward the wire. Sir Jonathan Zetam is all alone. Tight photo for the place. It's going to be Mapua's Fortune over too much fun. 155 and 4.
It was Sir Jonathan Zetam. This is the second time he's taken home the DSOA Claimer of the Meet Award at Harrington. The first time was in 2014. Owned by Bette Brittingham and trained by her husband Don, the Pacer had 16 starts with 8 wins, 1 second, 1 third, and over 21 grand in earnings at the half-mile meet. Sir Jonathan Zetam was driven by Bette and Don's son, Brett Brittingham. The award was presented by DSOA Director Valerie Warnick. Now let's take a look at the Trotter of the meet at Harrington Raceway.
At the top of the stretch, turning for home, it's Royal BECCA J with a 2-length lead. Racing in second is I'm So Striking with There's a Demon in Me on the outside third. Coming toward the wire, Royal BECCA J. There's a Demon in Me gets second over I'm So Striking in 156 and 2.
Royal BECCA J took home this DSOA honor. The Trotter, trained and driven by Jack Parker Jr., had 16 starts with 4 wins, 5 seconds, 1 third, and almost $53,000 bankrolled at the meet. DSOA Director George Teague Jr. presented this award to the Trotters' connections, and we got a chance to talk to owner James Moore III, also known as Chip, to find out how he acquired this top high stepper.
Well, actually, Jack's wife Carol picked him out as a yearling at the Harrisburg sale and was the underbidder. And when he showed up at Chick's sale in Harrington as a 2-year-old, we were successful. And so we bought him as a 2-year-old, turned him out, brought him back as 3, raced him about 15 starts, turned him out again, and brought him back as a 4-year-old, and he was a beast.
You know, that's fate. You know, when you're an underbidder on a horse, and then he ends up at a sale, like, you know, in the hometown of your trainer, it's meant to be, right?
Oh, you bet. And the name, Royal BECCA J, my oldest sister is Becky Johnson. So she's the Royal Becky Johnson. So it had to be, we were going to buy the horse. The name fit, we liked his conformation. We thought he'd be a good 3 older prospect.
Let's talk about yours and Jackie's relationship. How did that come about?
Lifelong friend. In Harrington, the Moores, the Johnsons, and the Parkers all grew up within about 5 blocks of each other. And my oldest brother-in-law, Terry Johnson, was connected with the Parkers in horse racing. I got involved through him. Jackie and I did a lot together when we were in high school. I was there at his first drive. Been with him forever. Had my first racehorse with him 29 years ago at the Meadowlands. And he put me on the map in 2014 with a mare called NF Happenstance. And so we've been on a roll the last 3 years.
Yeah, well, you had that mare and she was great. Now you've got Royal BECCA J, but it's very confusing, I gotta tell you, because I think Royal BECCA J is also a mare.
That's what everybody says. He's a she. No, he's a boy.
Okay.
He is a boy, and interesting. But he's all boy.
Last question is, he really has blossomed as he's gotten older. So we're expecting great things for 2017.
Hopefully, all the best. Hopefully.
Well, best of luck and congratulations on your award.
Thank you very much.
And our final award from the Harrington Raceway 2016 season is for Horse of the Meet, and it was Perfect Bags who took home this big honor. By the way, the standout mare was also voted the Horse of the Meet at Harrington by the United States Harness Writers Association. Owned by Ann Looney-King and trained by her husband, Jim King Jr., this Delaware-bred diva had 11 starts with 6 wins, 1 second, 2 thirds, and over $64,000 earned at the meet. DSOA Director Vic Kirby, who is also the driver of Perfect Bags, was the presenter of this high equine honor. And as the mayor's owner explains, Perfect Bags, who has now won $500,000 in purses, was the deal of the decade.
Went to chick sale. I needed a weanling to turn out with the one we raised. Didn't want to pay much for him. Said I wasn't going to go for more than $2,000. All the weanlings went for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Weanlings were gone. The yearlings came in. She was little. I knew she was a yearling. She was a June foal. I had $2,000 I wanted to spend. That was it. Man said $2,000. I put my hand up, and here she was.
Now let's race back in time to July of last year for a glimpse of Perfect Bags performing at the Delaware State Fair in the Legislator Cup at Harrington Raceway.
They're off. There goes Alyssa Page out for the lead, along with Empress Deo toward the inside. Hidden Land moves out. They race into the first turn. Hidden Land with Empress Deo alongside. Alyssa Page has the rail, racing up as Perfect Bags. From fourth, moves up into third. Back to fourth goes Alyssa Page. After that is Matinee Dragon, Hostess Lisa, and Quotable Quotes trails the field. They race midway up the back stretch, and Empress Deo on the outside being used fairly hard to get up and get the lead from Hidden Land. Hidden Land made her work, 26-1, I guess so. They race into the far turn. It's Empress Deo followed by Hidden Land. Perfect Bags got away in third. Another 3 lanes further back. That's Alyssa Page in fourth. Behind Alyssa Page is Matinee Dragon, then it's Hostess Lisa, and Quotable Quotes is the trailer as they make their way toward the half, and up front, leading by a length and a half, Empress Deo over Hidden Land. That's Perfect Bag sitting third on the outside, Matinee Dragon toward the rail, Alyssa Page, out comes Hostess Lisa. The trailer is Quotable Quotes, 54 3/5. They make their way around the turn toward the back stretch, and Empress Deo's got the lead by about a length. Matinee Dragon races up on the outside into second, Hidden Land back to third. Following in fourth is Hostess Lisa, nowhere to go for Perfect Bags. Third over up the back stretch is Quotable Quotes, and down inside Alyssa Page trails the field. They go by 3/4 in 1:24 flat into that far turn, and it's still Empress Deo followed by Hidden Land. 3 wide, Hostess Lisa backing away a bit. Matinee Dragon waiting for room is Perfect Bags. They're midway on the final turn, approaching the top of the stretch, and Empress Deo clings to the lead as they come off the turn. Hidden Land ready to move, as is Perfect Bags down the inside coming through the stretch. Here comes Perfect Bags after Empress Deo coming toward the wire. Perfect Bags down the inside. Here's Perfect Bags in front.
Perfect Bags wins the Thurman Adams Jr. Memorial Legislators Cup, named in honor of the extremely popular senator. Mr. Adams was a huge fan of standardbred racing and a favorite among our harness racing community. And it was so great to see so many of our legislators from all over Delaware come out and celebrate the winner in Victory Lane and honor Mr. Adams. Congrats to all of our Harrington Raceway DSOA award winners. We're gonna cut some rug into a break, but our Dover Downs honorees are coming up next, so don't boogie woogie away too far. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our Delaware Standardbred Owners Association Awards Dinner. It's a special edition here on Post Time. Earlier in the show, we saw the winners from Harrington Raceway. Now we're going to travel a little north to Dover Downs.
At Delaware's 5/8 mile oval, let's see who was honored as the DSOA Horse of the Meet.
They race toward the final turn, and Tataria has a 2-length lead. I Wonder Why back in the second, Art of Dancing begins to back away. Hillbilly Sweet Shark moves through inside. 3/4, 124 3/5. As they come toward the top of the stretch, Tataria, I Wonder Why, circling up on the far outside, Northern Rock'n'Roll. They come to the top of the stretch now, turning for home. Northern Rock'n'Roll on the far outside, I Wonder Why. Tataria there. Northern Rock'n'Roll just lugged in, and Northern Rock'n'Roll has gone up and taken the lead and pulls away. Northern Rock'n'Roll, I Wonder Why, Tataria in 154.
Northern Rock'n'Roll earned this award with 14 starts that included 7 victories, 1 second, and 1 third. She picked up almost $47,000 at that Dover meet. The pacer is trained by Darryl Lewis, who owns Northern Rock'n'Roll with his wife Leah. The couple bought the pacer in Ohio at the end of 2015. The Delaware Standardbred Owners Association's first vice president, Brenda Bramble, presented the award, and we caught up with Darryl about this fantastic 4-legged female and keeping her happy.
Put her on the exerciser every morning and let her have fun on that, and then jog her and train her on her training days, and she stays sharp.
So that's her routine. She goes out and she does something before she jogs.
Oh yes, yeah, every day. Just settle her down a little bit because she's pretty high strung.
Oh, she is?
Oh yes. Yep.
Like all the time? Like at the barn, in the paddock, like everywhere? She's
Getting her ready and going on the track. Before that she's okay, and after, but just when you're getting harness on her and take her to the track, she's real high strung. Yes. She's just a lot more than I expected. She's done a lot more than I expected, you know. She won her first start, and I was surprised. And the second one was my favorite. She had the 8-hole and 9-horse field, and she got away 9th, and she just looped them all and won again. And then the third start, she finished 4th, and I said, well, maybe she hit her high, you know, but then she went back and won 5 in a row after that. So, yeah, and every one of them I was a little surprised and happy all the same time, but yes, so it's been fun.
Next, it's time to check out the claimer of the meet at Dover Downs.
As they come toward the top of the stretch, with Rock'n'Roll Jewel battling Giant Sculpture as they straighten away now. Rock'n'Roll Jewel, Giant Sculpture down the inside is Raritan Bay. Here comes Raritan Bay after Rock'n'Roll Jewel in front. Raritan Bay and again Giant Sculpture, 149-1.
It was Rock'n'Roll Jewel who brought home the award with an incredible record of 11 wins and 3 seconds out of 15 races, with almost 80 grand in earnings at the meet, vying in claiming competitions. The equine was owned by Tom Lazzaro and trained by Dylan Davis. DSOA Director Charles Marsh was the presenter of this trophy on this special night. For our final award on today's show, it's the Dover Downs Trotter the Meet, and it was won by Tough Mac. This standardbred standout competed 16 times with 5 wins, 1 second, and 4 thirds, earning over $68,000 at the meet. He is owned by Michael Casalino Jr. and trained by Dylan Davis. DSOA Director Russell MacKinnon made the presentation for Top Trotter on this special evening.
Rock'n'Roll Jewel won in 149-1. That meet. That's like, as Hannah Montana would say, sweet niblets. Like, that was like unbelievable.
Yeah, he was a very tough horse, you know. He turned out to be a great claim for us, and he was just a horse that liked his job.
I don't know if you noticed, but there were 4 different drivers that won with him at the meet. Like, he got along with everybody, and 2 other drivers on top of that did well with him on qualifiers.
Yeah, he didn't need a special driver. All he had to do was, you know, get behind the gate, and the rest was, he loved it. You know, he did his job.
Well, by the way, congratulations on your claimer of the meet.
Thank you.
Okay, so now let's move on to Trotter in the meet. That's Tough Mac. And with Tough Mac, you know, trainers are never supposed to do this, like really have a favorite, but he is a favorite of yours, isn't he?
Yeah, you know, for what we paid for him and stuff, he really been an overachiever, and he's just fun to be around. Doesn't have much of a personality in the barn, but on the track to watch him, you know, just his gait and stuff, he's so flawless, and he's just fun to have.
Now, how do you keep him so sharp that meet? And then this meet, he's been good. I mean, he just won the Open.
He loves Dover. You know, he seems to do better at Dover than anywhere I take him. So I primarily I'll race him this 6 months of the year, have him back ready when Dover opens again. I tried racing him at Harrington one summer, and it didn't really go very well. Half-mile track wasn't him. So I just kind of aim him for Dover.
Okay, awesome. Well, congratulations, and wow, what a meet. So continued for this meet as well, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job.
Yep, thanks.
let's take a look at that Dylan Davis favorite who is aptly named Tough Mac in a race from the current Dover Downs meet.
They're off. There goes Tough Mac, quickest away. Between horses, Il Mago toward the inside, win back Charles M. You Want a Piece of Me got away third, racing fourth, Musserine. Then it's Yuva Hanover and Frost Free Hanover as they race midway on the first turn, and Tough Mac comes out with a 2-lane lead. Il Mago sitting in second, another 2 lanes to win back Charles M. About 40, You Want a Piece of Me. Trailers on that first turn are Musserine, Yuva Hanover, and Frost Free Hanover. 27 1/5. Field makes the way by the stands, and it's Tough Mac. Tough Mac with a 1.5 over Il Mago. Win back Charles M. got away third. Closing the gap fourth is You Want a Piece of Me. Coming to the outside, Musserine, Yuva Hanover follows, and at the end, Frost Free Hanover. Field races into the clubhouse turn, and Tough Mac's got the lead over Il Mago. That's Musserine racing up on the outside into third. Back to fourth goes Win Back Charles M. Coming alongside is Yuva Hanover. Then it's You Want a Piece of Me. Out from last, Frost Free Hanover, 56 3/5. They race up the back stretch. Tough Mac maintains the advantage. Il Mago is there outside, not gaining Musserine. Force 3 wide will be Yuva Hanover. They continue up the back stretch toward the far turn. Tough Mac and Il Mago. Down toward the inside, that's Win Back Charles M. They race by 3/4 in 125 flat. Around the final turn, Tough Mac a 2-lane lead over Il Mago. Another gap of 2.5 to Win Back Charles M, who's back in the third. Dropping back is Yuva Hanover. Frost Free Hanover caught out wide at the top of the stretch. It's Tough Mac or Il Mago. Tough Mac with the lead. Il Mago giving chase on the outside, coming toward the wire. It'll be Tough Mac to win it. Tough Mac draws away, in fact, from Il Mago. Holding third, Win Back Charles M, 152 4.
Tough Mac won the Winners Over Trot just this past week at Dover Downs. The now 8-year-old went from gate to wire in 152 4 with Corey Callahan at the controls. Congratulations to all of the Delaware Standardbred Owners Association award winners. Wishing you continued racing luck in the future.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me at this special shindig, the Delaware Standardbred Owners Association Annual Awards Banquet. So where can you see some of these big stars perform? I'm glad you asked.
Monday through Thursday, come on out. There's a first race post time of 4:30 p.m. Make sure that you check out the fabulous and fun race and sports book at Dover Downs for non-stop simulcasting action. You can watch and cheer on harness and thoroughbred horses from across the country from noon to midnight. And remember, there's always free parking and free admission at Dover Downs. For more information, just call 302-674-4600 or visit them on the web at doverdowns.com.
Thanks again for joining me. Drive home safely. Have a wonderful week, and God bless.